Tonight, the holiday storm threat heading into the weekend. Several tornado watches at this hour. A new state of emergency just declared. The flash flood threat. An entire community cut off. Their power plant underwater. The new system from Texas to Michigan as tens of millions travel for Memorial Day weekend. Plus, extreme heat for the southeast, nearing triple digits. Rob Marciano in the storm zone. Also tonight, inside the courtroom, the emotional sentencing of Jamie Kloss's kidnapper. The defendant killing her parents, holding her captive for 88 days. Her powerful message in court. Plus, this just in, the major ruling on abortion. A federal judge temporarily blocking one of the most restrictive laws in the nation. What this could mean in the battle over abortion. Also breaking tonight, 3 more climbers killed on Mount Everest. 5 deaths in the last 48 hours, including an American. The image showing the dangerous gridlock at the top of the world's tallest mountain. And deadly mistake. You'll remember that woman who called 911 for help, shot by an officer. For the first time, we see the moments after the shooting, the officer who pulled the trigger and what he was told at the scene. And good evening. It is great to have you with us on a busy Friday night. I'm Tom Yamas, in for David. And as we come on the air right now, we're getting reports of tornadoes on the ground, tornadoes hitting all day. This as nearly 43 million Americans travel this holiday weekend. Tornado alerts now in 3 states, and Oklahoma has a state of emergency. This twister in the town of Canadian, Texas, one of more than 100 across the country this week. And this tornado near Table Grove, Illinois, one of several reported just today. The threat also from severe storms and heavy rains. Neighborhoods in Tulsa completely underwater. And this man rescued after being trapped in his vehicle for hours. Tonight, the alert's now stretching from Texas all the way to the Great Lakes, and a new risk of extreme heat for the southeast. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano starts us off in Wichita, Kansas, where they're bracing for trouble tonight.
Tonight, millions of Americans are on the move, and so are dangerous storms. A tornado touching down southwest of Peoria, Illinois. This massive twister in the Texas Panhandle Thursday. Blinding dust storms, too. Winds gusting over 70 miles per hour. More than 100 tornadoes in 8 states reported this week, even as far east as Maryland. This as crews race to restore power in Jefferson City, Missouri, after that EF3 twister there.
If you look at this area, it's total devastation of our electrical system, for a fairly large area.
In Oklahoma, rivers at major flood stage after days of relentless rain. Our Marcus Moore is there.
And this is the swollen Arkansas River here in Tulsa. You can see the massive amounts of water rushing by, and that's sending people downstream scrambling to protect their homes and property.
The Tulsa County Sheriff's Office using high water vehicles and boats searching for residents who may be trapped. People like Sonny Wormser evacuating, fearful their homes will flood next.
I feel it in my stomach. It makes me sick.
In Braggs, Oklahoma, this power plant completely surrounded by water. This as we're learning of an incredible rescue in southeast Kansas. First responders saving a man trapped in his vehicle for more than 8 hours Wednesday.
An incredible rescue there. Rob Marciano joins us now from Wichita. And Rob, we want to make it clear to our viewers, you and your team are safe, but just now there was a tornado reported just east of you. Where are these storms headed tonight?
Well, the entire system, Tom, is not moving very quickly, and the storms continue to develop all around it. So you see the action on the radar here with a tornado watch that's in effect from West Texas all the way through Kansas, and another one with a lot of action across parts of Illinois, and flood watches as well. These storms will continue to fire overnight, and it will be dicey here at least through midnight. The northern piece of energy makes a run at the east coast tomorrow for late day storms there. More storms here late as well. And then for the rest of the holiday weekend, the heat will continue to build across the southeast. Record heat and more storms here firing across tornado alleying the plains, where they don't need any more water. Rivers here, including the Arkansas, running at near record levels. Tom?
And we see that debris flowing right behind you. All right, Rob, stay safe. We turn to that other big story we're following, that emotional hearing in a Wisconsin courtroom, the sentencing for Jake Patterson, who kidnapped 13-year-old Jamie Kloss after killing her parents. In a statement read by her aunt, Jamie told the judge, Patterson took away everything she loved, but he could never take away her courage. 6 of her family members also spoke in court. We didn't see their faces, but we heard their pain. Here's ABC's Alex Perez.
A gut-wrenching day for the family of Jamie Kloss, facing Jake Patterson, the man who confessed to kidnapping the 13-year-old and brutally murdering her parents.
None of us are going to win today. None of us are going to get our family members back.
Shattered loved ones pleading with the judge for the toughest sentence. A family attorney then reading a letter from Jamie herself.
He can't take my freedom. He thought that he could own me, but he was wrong. I was smarter.
Jamie's words, resilient and defiant.
Jake Patterson will never have any power over me. I feel like I have some power over him because I get to tell the judge what I think should happen to him.
Prosecutors revealing the horror of that night, playing the screams in that chilling 911 call from Jamie's mom. Moments before Patterson killed her as she held her daughter in a bear hug in this bathtub trying to protect her. Jamie's father already murdered. And for the first time, we see where Patterson held Jamie for 88 days, forcing her to live under this bed until the brave girl escaped.
Mr. Patterson is a cold-blooded killer.
Throughout the sentencing, Patterson seen shaking his head, then speaking.
Do absolutely anything to bring them back. I'm just so sorry.
But the judge blasting Patterson, giving him 2 consecutive life sentences.
You are the embodiment of evil, and the public can only be safe if you are incarcerated until you die.
And Tom, in that letter, Jamie talked about just how much she misses her parents. She's now preparing for her 8th grade graduation. Tom?
Standing strong somehow. All right, Alex, thank you. And there is breaking news in the emotional abortion battle tonight. A federal judge has blocked Mississippi's strict new abortion law that bans the procedure after about 6 weeks and makes no exception for rape or incest. While in Missouri, the governor signed into law one almost as strict. Both laws could end up before the Supreme Court. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
In Mississippi tonight, a law that would make abortions illegal as early as 6 weeks is now on hold. A federal judge ruling that the ban threatens immediate harm to women's rights, especially considering most women do not seek abortion services until after 6 weeks. But while the Mississippi ban is being blocked for now, in Missouri, the governor today signed one of the most restrictive laws in the country. It outlaws abortions after 8 weeks, even in cases of rape or incest.
I believe in 2 months you can make a decision. I believe that can be done. But in 2 months' time, I also believe that child has rights.
And Mary joins us now. Mary, that Mississippi law on hold tonight, but that ban in Missouri, how soon does that go into effect?
Well, Tom, this does not go into effect until the end of August. And between now and then, there are likely to be legal challenges which could temporarily halt that ban. Tom?
Mary Bruce for us tonight. Mary, thank you. We head to Capitol Hill now to the escalating war of words between President Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The president even tweeting a video that makes Pelosi appear to speak incoherently. What the president said when our John Carl asked him about those personal attacks.
Before taking off on a trip to Japan, President Trump defended his increasingly personal war of words with Nancy Pelosi.
Mr. President, what do you hope to accomplish with your personal attacks on the speaker? You're saying she's lost it. You're saying
this just shows how fake you and the news are.
You haven't personally attacked the speaker?
Personal attack. Did you hear what she said about me long before I went after her? Did you hear?
Yes, I did. She's attacked you as well. Yes.
She knows they're not true. She said terrible things. So I just responded in kind.
There's no question the speaker's attacks on the president have become more personal, too. It was her accusation that the president is engaged in a cover-up that prompted him to walk out of their planned White House meeting earlier this week, and Pelosi to then imply the president was out of control.
I pray for the president of the United States. I wish that his family or his administration or his staff would have an intervention for the good of the country.
The spiral downward continued today.
Look, you think Nancy's the same as she was? She's not. Maybe we can all say that.
What do you mean by that?
I think, frankly, right now, we are... I'm only speaking for myself.
Took no longer on the floor.
Late last night, the president even tweeted a mashup of clips of a recent Pelosi press conference to give the false impression that she spent the whole thing stammering through her words. And amidst all of this, the president today also insisted that he can still work with Speaker Pelosi.
I can work with the speaker. Sure, I can work with the speaker.
And Jonathan Karl joins us now from the White House tonight. President Trump with another announcement there on the South Lawn, this one concerning troop movements in the Middle East. And John, we're getting some clarity tonight?
The president said he has approved an order for 1,500 additional troops to the Middle East for what he called protection. The Pentagon later explained that this modest increase in U.S. troop levels is designed to protect U.S. assets in the region, Tom, from what they see as an increasing threat from Iran.
Jonathan Carl for us tonight. John, thank you. Next to a major development in the Russia investigation, President Trump has given Attorney General William Barr sweeping new power to investigate the investigation, calling the Russia probe an attempted coup.
I declassified, I guess, potentially millions of pages of documents. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. But I want to be transparent. Our Attorney General is in charge. Let's see what he finds.
And now the president and attorney general are being accused by House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff of weaponizing law enforcement and classified information against their political enemies. And Democrats still want to hear from Robert Mueller. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas joins us now from Washington. And Pierre, it has been a month since the Mueller report was released, and there's still no date for him to testify before Congress. And now we may have the reason why.
Tom, that's right. Sources are telling ABC News Mueller's concerned he can't say much more than what was released from his report, and he's worried that the public hearing could descend into a political food fight where both sides would try to use him as a pawn. The House Judiciary Chairman says Mueller wants to make an opening statement and then go into a closed session, but we've not heard anything officially from Mueller, and some sources are saying they cannot rule out him declining to testify at all, Tom.
All right. Pierre Thomas with that new reporting. Pierre, thank you. Next to newly released body cam video of a deadly police shooting that made national headlines. Minneapolis bride-to-be Justine Damon called 911 about a woman who was in distress behind her house. And for the first time tonight, we see rookie officer Mohammed Noor just after he shot and killed her. Here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
Just weeks after former Minneapolis police officer Mohammed Noor was convicted in the shooting death of Justine Damon, we're now hearing her 911 call for help that night.
I can hear someone out the back, and I'm not sure if she's having sex or being raped.
Damon worried a woman was being assaulted behind her home back in 2017. Two officers racing to that dark alley, Noor opening fire through the window, later saying he was startled by someone banging on the car. For the first time, we're seeing the moments after that shooting. Noor's partner trying to save Damon's life.
Stay with me.
Then he can be heard explaining what happened.
She just came up out of nowhere on the side of the thing, and we both got spooked.
Officer Noor appearing distressed as another officer checks on him.
You all right? Yeah. Just keep yourself, keep your mouth shut until you have to say anything anyway.
Noor was fired and convicted of third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. He'll be sentenced in June. Tom.
Stephanie, thank you. Overseas now to that major change coming in the UK. Prime Minister Theresa May will step down. The always stoic May getting emotional during her announcement outside 10 Downing Street, saying she had tried but failed to complete a Brexit deal. So will her successor have any better luck, and will relations with the U.S. change? ABC senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell reports from London.
Tonight, high political drama in London. After months of intense pressure and speculation, British Prime Minister Theresa May finally giving up the job she'd always wanted, throwing in the towel.
I will shortly leave the job that it has been the honour of my life to hold. I do so with no ill will, but with enormous and enduring gratitude to have had the opportunity to serve the country I love.
After 3 chaotic years in office, it was the single issue that's dogged her throughout that finally did for her. Brexit, Britain's decision to exit the European Union, and the failure to agree a deal. When President Trump arrives here for his first state visit, it'll be in the middle of one of the greatest post-war crises in the UK. And there are huge risks for President Trump's visit. The last time he was here in the UK, he voiced support for the man now tipped to replace Theresa May. If he does that this time, it'll be hugely controversial. Tom?
Ian Pannell for us in London. Ian, thank you. And in Lyon, France, an explosion outside a bakery has injured at least 13 people, including a child. Witnesses say a man with a bicycle dropped a bag outside the bakery on a crowded pedestrian street as people were beginning their weekend. No one has claimed responsibility, but the Anti-Terrorism Office has opened an inquiry. And there's next tonight, the growing emergency on Mount Everest. 3 more deaths on the world's highest peak, and at least 5 climbers dying this week alone, including one American. New concerns about too many climbers. Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell.
Tonight, more tragedy at the top of the world. In the last 48 hours, 5 more climbers have died in the extremes of Mount Everest. Wednesday, Utah climber Don Cash had just finished his quest to climb the highest peaks on all 7 continents when he collapsed from high-altitude sickness. He died despite CPR and a desperate effort to move him to a lower altitude.
It is sad to think that, we won't be able to see him again.
Everest, one of the hardest places on Earth to reach, is ironically one of the most crowded. Climbers are forced to wait for narrow windows of good weather. When it clears, they're locked in a rush hour-like traffic jam. Longer waits mean climbers are spending more time in the so-called death zone above 28,000 feet, where the lack of oxygen can be lethal.
Cash's family says tonight they are focusing on how happy he must have been to have finally reached the top of Everest as his last memory. Tom?
Clayton's hand now with our index, and we start with disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein's $44 million settlement. Weinstein settling lawsuits from dozens of women accusing him of sexual misconduct. At least one alleged victim rejecting the offer. The money would come from his former studio's insurance company, not from Weinstein. The deal still needs to be finalized. Weinstein still faces sex assault charges here in New York. He has pleaded not guilty. And celebrity chef Mario Batali in court in Boston today. Batali looking visibly different, pleading not guilty to indecent assault and battery. He's accused of groping a woman at a restaurant in 2017. Batali facing multiple allegations of sexual misconduct. To the air and new troubles for Boeing's grounded fleet of MAX jets. United Airlines extending its cancellations of 737 MAX flights until at least August 3rd. That's almost another 1,300 flights canceled. The planes grounded after deadly crashes in Indonesia and Ethiopia. No word on when the jets will fly again. And graduation day at the Naval Academy. More than 1,000 midshipmen commissioned as officers in Annapolis today. The class of 2019 with a record graduation rate of 89.9%. Congrats to them. And when tonight, America Strong. When they needed him, he was always there for more than 3 decades. He knew their address, but also so much more. So what happened on his last run?
In an ever-changing world, this has been the one constant in Marietta, Georgia. For the last 35 years, U.S. Postal worker Floyd Martin, better known as Mr. Floyd, has been delivering letters, packages, and now even Amazon Prime. But on Wednesday, as he hit mailbox after mailbox, there were letters and packages for him. Mr. Floyd was retiring. So beloved on his route, more than 300 people came out to wish him well. Some of these residents he's known since they were babies. He's a mailman even dogs love. That's because he keeps milk bones in his truck. Doreen Hips, 87, has been on his route since the beginning. Her granddaughter told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution dementia has set in and she doesn't see well anymore, but she still knows Floyd.
It's been amazing. They were my friends. I could have left them a long time ago, but I wouldn't because I love them.
And when his last shift was over, the neighborhood had another surprise for Mr. Floyd, a block party in his honor. Mr. Floyd saying goodbye and writing out his farewell address, of course, on the back of an envelope.
I love you guys. I said that, I mean it. And that's what the world needs more of now is love and caring.
And one last delivery, some advice to the people he served.
But just continue to take care of each other. And smile. I love you all.
And we're smiling already. The neighborhood also raised enough money to send him to Hawaii, plus some extra spending cash, so expect some postcards. We thank Mr. Floyd for his service, and we thank you for watching on a Friday night. I'm Tom Yamas. I hope to see you right back here tomorrow. For David and all of us here, good night.